Let's talk about athletes and their nutrition. Nutrition is one of the biggest factors of success for athletes and their performance. The diet can make or break performance in training, games, tournaments, and even recovery. So, with nutrition being so important, what foods are the best for athletes and what are the worst? Now, to start, athletes need a high amount of daily calories in order to maintain activity and match the expenditure of energy. And in our day and age, there are plenty of options for meals and snacks for athletes to consume. However, some of those might be really highly processed foods and could be hurting more than helping. So, we're going to look today at a healthy menu for how processed foods are hurting your performance as an athlete. We'll talk a little bit about how the impact of processed foods on your performance. We're going to talk about why this happens, a few notes from different athletes, different things that they should consume instead, with some ideas, and also the importance of balance. We all know it can be really hard for athletes to get proper nutrition all of the time. As I said, most athletes need a high caloric intake, and they'll have to have a wide variety of foods just to simply meet their energy needs. Most athletes actually need to eat a lot more than they already are and more than they think. When you're on the go, processed snacks and meals are helpful, but they're not the best thing for you. A high intake of only processed foods can be harmful for athletic success. Examples of these can be sugary drinks and snacks, high fat and sodium fast food meals, and just simple stuff like chips, candy, and salts in too much quantity can really hurt an athlete's success. So, when you're looking at your ingredients and the nutrition labels when you try to pick a food, you should be on the lookout for added sugars, added salts, protein isolates, trans and saturated fats, and different added stuff that isn't really needed. Eating too much of these has been proven to cause energy crashes during games, training, and activity. It can make athletes feel nauseous, fatigued, and overall feeling generally sluggish. Also, these foods are really not going to enhance your muscle growth and recovery. As an athlete, it's important you properly recover and give your muscle that protein and strength that it needs, which is why overconsumption of these processed foods has been proven to inhibit muscle recovery for most athletes. So, what causes this and why does this happen? A lot of this happens just because of the simple effect that these ingredients and these added things can do for our body. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't eat foods that have these, but too much of these ingredients, such as high sugar, trans and saturated fats, cholesterol, deficiencies of vitamins, and just general additives, can really inhibit your performance. So, high sugars and excess sugars can cause increased chronic diseases, unnecessary weight gain, and energy crashes. Trans and saturated fats, you'll see an increased inflammation as well as an increase of cholesterol, which can decrease your muscle recovery and your cardiac ability, which is for athletes, cardiac ability, you need to prioritize that and make sure you're not doing anything to hurt it. A lot of times, increased fat can also mean increased cholesterol, and this can block the oxygen running through your body and in the blood flow of our veins, which, as an athlete, you know that getting oxygen to every part of your muscles and every part of your body is super critical to a good performance. Not eating enough fruits and vegetables and different foods that have vitamins, minerals, and all those micronutrients you need can cause a lot of deficiencies, such as, and will lead to REDS, poor immunity health, digestive issues, and other issues, and also just additives such as flavors, colors, preservatives. There can be long-time risks with those that we don't even know yet, as well as nausea and just disruptive training through fatigue, chronic stomach issues, and just a lot of different stuff. So many athletes themselves have chosen to avoid a lot of these foods with these ingredients just to prioritize success in their sport. So we can see from some athletes in some studies that these athletes would feel sluggish in their performance when they consumed ultra-processed foods and ultra-processed ingredients. They didn't feel as successful to those days when they ate a lot of whole foods and focused on their nutrients instead of just what was easiest at the time. Many avoided these ingredients because they wanted to recover faster and make sure they were ready for the next day. Another study showed that athletes following a poor diet, excluding major macronutrients such as our carbs, proteins, and fats, and it was mostly made up of ultra processed ingredients, were overall performing at a lesser level than those that did prioritize their nutrition. Reducing these levels of processed ingredients will help with long term recovery and overall health for athletes. So, here are some things that you should be consuming instead. Many options are easy, delicious, and can be much more beneficial for your success. You should focus as an athlete on lean proteins from plants and animals, as protein is what is going to repair your muscles and really help them grow and help them feel best when you're performing. Our healthy fats, such as omega 3s, are going to reduce your inflammation and reduce your cholesterol, which is what blocks oxygen moving throughout your blood and your body. Different things of this can be spinach, salmon, beans, and other like lentils. Your colorful fruits and vegetables should be in at every meal. And also, they taste good, but it will give you adequate vitamin intake, which can really reduce a lot of those deficiencies. And then whole grain, multigrain, simple carbohydrates, just not super processed ones. And these are the most important because this is what's going to give you, as an athlete, that energy and glycogen and sugar and everything you need to really succeed in your goals. Overall, athletes really should be focused on a nutritionally dense diet with all the major macronutrients and vitamins and minerals. So now we can talk about balance. Eating a balanced diet is a crucial part, though, because if you avoid all of those processed foods, it could lead to disordered thoughts, disordered behaviors, and just an overall negative connotation with them. So I think a good thing is the 80-20 rule. 80% nutritionally dense foods and 20% of your choice foods. No food is bad, and athletes need the intake and need the energy. But the foods that we mentioned earlier with those ingredients should not be your whole diet. That doesn't mean you can't incorporate them, you just need to have that balance. Let food be thy medicine, and medicine be thy food. For an athlete, your nutrition is so crucial to your performance, and it's really important that you do prioritize that. I know it can be hard in college, but making sure you are eating the best you can for your body and your sport is how you're going to be successful.